Welcome, 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 one and all. Come round to the circus to witness the incredible Strongman in all his glory and fame. Sorry, got lost in the moment. Today we'll be discussing the powers of Wolfgang the Strongman, or as the DST community like to call him, Hold F and Win. With deep-rooted origins within the travelling circus, Wolfgang had a long-time dream of being the strongest man alive. Failing to meet said dream, he resorted to stage trickery to display his strengths. Exposed! A fraud! He felt nothing could make his dream real. But now, in the constant, and a little bit of magic here and there, his strength is practically his oyster. Wolfgang is even with his stats, with 200 health, hunger, and sanity. However, he does have a fourth stat that isn't viewable from the compendium. Wolfgang has a mighty meter, which starts at 50 upon spawning in, and it can be raised and lowered to 100 and 0 respectively. Nothing bad like losing health or sanity happens when you reach 0 mightiness, so don't panic if it does reach 0, okay? But what does the meter do? Well, between 25 and 75 mightiness, Wolfgang is in his normal form, where he's basically the same as any other average character. Working speed, damage output is all the same. But over time, the meter will drain, and once it's below 25, Wolfgang will transform into his wimpy state. While wimpy, Wolfgang will deal 25% less damage and will be 25% less effective while chopping, mining, and hammering, but he will still lose the same amount of durability with the tool. But as a little benefit, wimpy Wolfgang will be more resistant to overheating, but more vulnerable to freezing. And with wimpy Wolfgang will lose 25% less hunger, which isn't bad if you wish to conserve food. Over 75 mightiness, and Wolfgang will be, well, mighty. Whilst gaining a giant head, he will deal double the amount of damage with any weapon, and is 50% more effective when chopping, mining, etc., with the added bonus of being able to one-shot any tree or boulder. Wolfgang is 33% more effective when rowing as well, and will receive no slowness effect when carrying heavy objects or wearing things like piggybacks and marble suits, with another benefit of resistance to freezing, but more easily to overheat. But how do we change the mightiness? Well, by doing any task like chopping, mining, attacking, rowing, anything really, but the more appropriate answer is already in your inventory. You will start off with a dumbbell, which you can also craft more of with 4 rocks and a twig if you need to. It will raise your mightiness by 3 points per lift when wimpy, and 1.5 points per lift when normal and mighty. All dumbbells will pause the mightiness drain whilst being held and continuously running, and can be used as a weapon and will deal 17 damage, which isn't a lot, but remember that is doubled when mighty. Speaking of being mighty, dumbbells can be thrown when in this state, dealing an AoE damage of 34. But when you go to craft, you will find even more dumbbells with higher levels of efficiency when raising mightiness. Golden dumbbells cost 4 gold and 1 twig, raise mightiness by 5 points when wimpy, 3 points when normal, and 1.5 points when mighty, and will deal 27.2 damage or 54.4 when mighty. Marbles cost 4 marble, a twig, and will raise mightiness by 5 when wimpy and normal, and 3 points when mighty. But it will slow you down by 10% when not mighty, and will deal 34 damage, 68 when mighty. Finally, gem bells cost a purple gem, 2 bits of full sight, a twig, and will raise mightiness by 5 regardless of state, and will deal 42.5 damage, 85 when mighty, and is overall the best when it comes to on-the-go mightiness raising. But there is also a structure exclusive to Wolfgang, the Mighty Gem, which costs 4 boards, 2 cut stone, 3 rope, and a minimum of a science machine to craft it. When placed, 2 potato sacks will already be on either side of the gym, and you can swap these out for any other heavy objects. What does this mean? Well, whatever heavy objects that are placed on the gym will determine how quickly Wolfgang will regain mightiness. This is a table that I pulled from the wiki of what heavy objects fall into what category of weight. When using the gym, a minigame will play out, where you must hit space when the bell is aligned with the center of the bottom bar. Here's another table of effectiveness of the gym determined by the weight it has on it. And while we're here, I might as well say the mighty meter will drain faster the hungrier Wolfgang is. Here are the exact amounts. Good lord, and all that was only describing his mighty meter. I suppose I will close off this section with the mention of Wolfgang's high collection of phobias. Wolfgang will lose 25% more sanity when around monsters, the dark, or anything that drains sanity. Which honestly isn't a problem when fighting bosses, as you will most likely kill the boss before the sanity drain really affects you. And now, onto his skill tree. Wolfgang has 25 skills that he may spend insight points on, but you can't have them all, so these are what you may spend them on. In the chores tree, there are 3 chore workout skills, which will increase the chance to one-shot trees and boulders by 5, 10, and 15%, which honestly is a very straightforward skill tree. The training trees are where most of your insight points are going to go. Gym Mastery will complete the Mighty Gym minigame automatically. It's not really worth it, but if you have a bad computer or you can't get the timing right, maybe this skill is for you. Coach Wolfgang will allow you to craft a coaching whistle from a piece of flint and a rope. Don't ask me how that crafting recipe works, just go with it. It's only usable when Wolfgang is in his normal form, and when the whistle is active, players will receive 5 sanity and followers will deal double damage for 10 seconds. The whistle will then take 10 to 40 seconds to reapply itself. However, if you do change from Wimp to Wimpy or to Mighty, then the effect cancels out. If you unlocked Coach Wolfgang, Leg Day will be available. This means that Wolfgang, in his normal form, will receive a 10% movement speed increase. Dumbbell Developer will allow you to craft 3 new dumbbells. The Therm Bell costs a pickaxe, 12 rocks, and 4 flint. It will act the same way as a thermal stone while having the same effect as a normal stone dumbbell. But it doesn't change your player's temperature when held, which is where you mostly have it, so it's not very effective. Fire Bell and Ice Bell are the same as the Gem Bell, but require their respective red and blue gems to craft, and have special abilities when thrown. Fire Bells land with flames, and Ice Bells freeze enemies at twice the efficiency of an Ice Staff. Heavy Hitter 1 and 2 are available once Dumbbell Developer is unlocked, and will increase damage of thrown dumbbells by 50 and 100%. That's it, so a dumbbell can do a maximum of 170 now. Push the limits 1 to 5, extend the maximum of your mighty meter by 10 by each skill. So with all 5 skills, you can have a maximum of 150 mightiness. However, you can only reach that high if you use the Mighty Gym, as dumbbells won't push it that far. The Might tree is next. Mighty Weapons 1 to 5 will increase how much planar damage you will produce as Mighty Wolfgang. What's planar damage? I made a video discussing it last month, so give that a watch if you wish to know more. But each Mighty Weapon skill will give 5 more planar damage to planar weapons, and only to planar weapons. So if you have a Dark Sword, it won't add any extra planar damage. With all 5 skills, you can add 25 extra planar damage to your damage output. And now, the affinity skills. Just like last time, you'll have to have beaten either Celestial Champion or Ancient Fuel Weaver and have no Shadow or Lunar affinity, depending on which path you're going on. However, if you have beaten either boss on another world or with another character, it won't ask you to fight them again. However, this time, Wolfgang gains 3 skills for choosing either Shadow or Lunar. If you side with the Shadows, the Shadow Queen will make you her Shadow Guard. And with those skills, they will increase total damage to lunar-aligned creatures by 10%, with each skill maxing out at 30% with all 3 skills. These skills will also allow you to take 10% less damage from lunar-aligned creatures. Siding with the Moon? Well, the Cryptic Founder is looking for a Lunar Strategist. This is identical to the Shadow skills, dealing 10, 20, and 30% more damage to the Shadow-aligned and 10% less damage taken from the lunar-aligned creatures. To wrap things up, Wolfgang's favourite food is roasted potatoes. Potatoes can be most effectively grown in autumn, winter and spring, and require manure, water and talking to if you wish for giant crops. But since toma roots require compost and growth formula while producing manure, the polar opposite to what potatoes require and produce, it might be wise to plant 4 toma roots and potatoes in a single plot so they feed off each other, so you only need to worry about watering and talking to them. Once cooked, Roasted potatoes give 20 health and 25 hunger, but to Wolfgang, it will give 40 hunger. And with that, our show has come to a close. We wish thee farewell and good tidings to all who came to watch our performance. Good night and goodbye. Are the curtains closed yet? Oh, yeah. Bye, everyone.